Previously on Blue Dragon, Shu and his teammates meet up with Homura, the master information broker, on their journey. There he informs them about the pink-haired girl, Delphinium. According to Homura, she is a secret intelligence agent whose records are slowly being deleted. Not only that, she is deemed responsible for stealing the Extra 7. As a result, they decide to go after her and begin to investigate Norg, an old battleship she traveled on before. Upon reaching the ship, in an active war zone, Homura manages to infiltrate the Norg and begins searching for information. However, amidst the battle, the Norg takes a hit and begins to descend. As Shu and the others follow this broken ship, Delphinium shows up and kills Homura using her shadow and flees. Shu and the others arrive soon after, but are too late. Nonetheless, the captain of Norg relays forward the information Homura learned, revealing the Extra 7 is on General Logi's ship, who is trying to decode them in private to reap all the benefits. Somewhere else, the winged warriors of Rakrima engage in battle against Nene's battleship. However, they are no match for the flying fortress, which completely decimates its opponents. There, Nene's attendant questions what General Logi is doing, still being unable to capture those mere children, but Nene is unconcerned. Meanwhile, Shu and the others are on Logi's tail. Thanks to Homura's allies, they know where the fleet is and rush there. But General Logi already knows of their attack. Thanks to the time Delphinium bought him, he has made significant progress with the research and has crafted up a new item. Not only that, he has set up countermeasures for the invaders and sends out all of his personnel to go deal with them. Whereas he, Delphinium, and his troop commander watch the battle from the comfort of their fortress. The first one up is Gilliam and his two lackeys, Todd and Bishop. Seeing them, Zola decides to stay back along with Marumaro, allowing the others to proceed. Consequently, the heated battle begins, but it is seen that this time, the independent flying squadron has now equipped a special device, a power booster, which allows them to become stronger than before. Activating this item, Gilliam, Todd, and Bishop feel an immense rush of power surging through them. As such, they combine their new strength and deliver a fearsome attack on their foes. Meanwhile, Shu and the others are preoccupied somewhere else. Cynthia has shown herself and is standing in their way. She too activates the power booster, feeling a stronger power rush through her. Shu, thinking that he will be able to blow away Cynthia in a single strike, rushes in to attack, but the opposite happens. Cynthia overpowers Shu and even Schneider shows up, blocking the other escape route. This leaves them trapped and with no choice but to attack. As such, Bouquet plans to disguise herself as Shu in order to confuse the enemy, and all four of them unleash a combined attack, but even this isn't enough to face Cynthia in her current state, who easily emerges unscathed and attacks back. While Zola and Marumaro continue to get cornered by their foes, Zola has an idea. She tells Marumaro to hold out as long as he can and runs off somewhere, stating that she has to go check out something. Although Marumaro is worried, his shadow knows Zola will come back, with something to help them in their current situation, and as such, begin his stalling. Soon enough, Zola comes up with a plan. They use Marumaro to set up an ambush to take down Bishop. Not only that, but not long after, Gilliam and Todd begin to go into overdrive mode, after using up too much of their energy because of the power booster. As such, they retreat, but Zola strikes them down. In the meantime, Shu and Jiro try to tag the team on Cynthia. Despite this, she is able to defend against all incoming attacks and even inflict some damage on her opponents. Despite this, Shu refuses to back down. He announces that he cannot stand back when evil people like Cynthia still exist, and spreads sorrow across the land. Hearing this statement, Jiro remembers why he set out on this journey in the first place, to defeat Nene once and for all. As Cynthia attacks, Kluke tries to use her shadow to cast a protective barrier, but the barrier is ultimately destroyed by the attack. Consequently, Kluke and Bouquet both take damage. Seeing this, Jiro rushes in to attack, but Cynthia catches his punch midair. She announces that she is only interested in Jiro, constraining and casting Shu aside for later. Going into overdrive, she engages Jiro in battle, disregarding new orders to retreat. Her anger gets the best of her, allowing Jiro to land a heavy blow and end the battle. But for Logi, this is all within calculations. He simply orders the second line of defense, Antropov, Schneider, and Lemay, to tighten up and prepare to engage the attackers. Anyway, Zola's group once again reunites with Shu's group, and they all advance forward together. Soon they are confronted by the second line of defense. There, Zola suggests that she, Marumaro, and Jiro stay behind in order to combat these foes. This allows Shu, Kluke, and Bouquet to head on ahead, but Zola reminds Bouquet that the rest of the plan will rely on Bouquet and her shadow's power. And so, Jiro, Marumaro, and Zola begin to power up and summon their shadows. Lemay, Antropov, and Schneider do the same in response, but Zola manages to get a swift attack in, allowing Shu and his team to venture on ahead. There, it is seen that Lemay wants to fight Zola alone. He uses an attack to separate him and her from the others. Consequently, Zola asks why Lemaire is so hellbent and obsessed over her, and questions what he wants. But it is revealed that Lemaire's pride has taken a giant blow from Zola, shaming him not only once, but twice. He thinks that the only way for him to regain his pride in his strength is to humiliate and defeat Zola once and for all. As their battle starts, Zola quickly gets accustomed to her foe's movements, but Lemaire has an ace up his sleeve, the power booster. He equips it hoping to defeat Zola. Nonetheless, the difference between them is too much, and Zola is able to emerge victorious from her battle. Meanwhile, Maru and Jiro are seen to be having a tough time against their opponent. The combined strength of Andropov and Schneider is too much for them to handle, but regardless, they refuse to go down. On the other hand, Shu, Kluke, and Bouquet continue their journey to the fortress. However, they encounter Logi himself on the way. There, Logi mocks Shu, making him enraged. As such, he claims that he will defeat Logi alone, allowing Bouquet and Kluke to head on ahead and complete their mission. And so the rematch between Logi and Shu begins. But even Fire Crisis, Blue Dragon's strongest attack, is not able to face Logi and his shadow Valkyrie. This leaves Shu in a pinch, but in the nick of time Kluke arrives to save him. It is seen the Bouquet insisted that Kluke return and help Shu, while she claims that she alone will somehow or the other manage to retrieve the extra 7. With this, the battle is now a 2 versus 1. General Logi and Valkyrie are still being engaged in combat by Shu and Kluke. As the intense battle continues, although Shu is able to chop off Valkyrie's left wing, Kluke ends up passing out and collapses onto the ground. Seeing this, Shu loses control, unleashing a strong aura which destroys the glass holding the extra 7. Nevertheless, Logi and Valkyrie are able to defeat Blue Dragon, but Shu's fury causes Blue Dragon to regain strength. This crazy Shu is able to bring Logi to his knees, but Andropov and Schneider were able to get Logi out of there. On the contrary, Maru is not having such good luck. The attacks made by Andropov's Alubuzhem and Schneider's Isabel knock Maru out cold. This leaves Jiro in a pinch as well, who is now forced to combat 2 foes at once, but fortunately Zola shows there to support him. In the meantime, Bouquet, equipped with a gun Kluke handed to her, sneaks into Logi's ship once there. She plans to use her invisibility powers to recover the extra 7, and as a result gets naked and begins to roam around the fortress. Eventually, just as Shu's power breaks the extra 7's protective glass, she enters the room and gets her hands on it. Nonetheless, Delphinium shows up in the nick of time to stop her, but Bouquet makes her way out of the ship through a breach created by combat debris. Seeing this, Delphinium uses her shadow to steal back the extra 7 just in time. But regardless, Bouquet was able to memorize them enough for Shu and the others to be able to decipher replicas of them, thanks to the shape-shifting abilities of the hippopotamus. Thanks to her power, she's able to transform into each individual page of the extra 7, while Zola and Kluke hastily work to copy them. Meanwhile, Maru and Shu are sitting idly with nothing else better to do than stare. Back to Zola and Kluke, who have just finished their work. As such, Zola takes a good look at them and is able to figure something out. According to her, the text on each page is broken into 8 different sections, all with different anagrams and stuff. Regardless, she still gives it a go and begins deciphering them. As she does so, Shu, Maru, and Jiro watch her from the sidelines. There, Shu and Maru make fun of Jiro, deeming him a useless guy who cannot do anything except silently watch. Nevertheless, Kluke breaks up their fight. Eventually, they all are able to finally decipher all the text, but the real meaning behind them still remains unknown. But with a stroke of luck, Kluke figures out that Chapter 1 refers to the ruins near the Talta village. As such, they all head to Talta after stealing a small airship from the Grand Kingdom to make their commute easier. On the other hand, Logi is ordered by Nene to take a break and is relocated to a remote place. And so, Shu and his group make their way to the ruins in the airship they have just stolen. But beforehand, Kluke wants to check out the Talta village. Anyway, after Kluke and Shu have overlooked the village slowly rebuilding itself and beginning to once again prosper, they both head back to their friends who have discovered the Blue Dragon's ruins. There, Shu disappears around nighttime as Zola explains that only the wielder of the shadow is able to venture into the deepest parts of the ruins, similar to how only Kluke disappeared in the Phoenix ruins. On the other hand, after stumbling around for a while, Shu happens upon a statue of Blue Dragon, and Shu summons his shadow. However, from the statue, a black dragon claiming to be the true Blue Dragon emerges. This dragon refuses to give the sealed power to Shu. As such, Shu and his shadow begin attacking. But amidst the commotion, the real Blue Dragon changes place with Shu's, tricking him into leaving this room and sealing Shu's shadow here. Nevertheless, Shu figures out something is wrong at the last moment. Realizing this Blue Dragon is fake, he summons his real shadow and eventually is able to defeat the fake. With this, he returns to his friend's side, destroying the ruins in the process. The end, for now. Thanks for watching. If you like this recap, please consider to like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to be notified of any new recaps. And while you're at it, check out this new anime recap appearing on the screen.